What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about ARK today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. ARK, A-R-K. We talked about this one last night, right? Literally, it was my second to last video that I made last night, and we were talking about, literally the title says, my next multi-100x buy, purchase is probably what it says. Let's see. My next multi-100x crypto pick. And literally, when I made that video, it had to have been between this hour here or this hour here, and then just hours later we pumped, you guys, on a daily basis. And the reason I'm bringing this to your attention is not because I want to be like, hey, I'm right, look at this, look at how great of a call that was. I got lucky, right? I called it just before it happened. I wasn't expecting that. It could have consolidated for another week or half a week or longer than that, before it broke out. That's not the point. The point that I'm trying to make by addressing this is that it just broke out. It just broke out. Hit the like button and subscribe if you like fresh breakouts, you guys, because the more we zoom out of this, I think the more obvious it is. Oh, that's not the right that's not the right chart that we want. We want all-time history charts. The more that we zoom out, the more that it's obvious that a breakout move in the positive direction, at least on a small scale, could lead to a breakout move in the positive direction again on the big scale, right? We're still in this range. We're still absolutely in this range. But on a daily basis, that right there, that's a nice move up, you guys. From a low to a high of the day, we moved up overall over 80%. We go to USDT on Binance where there's more volume, and you can see that was a lot of volume that came in today. That was the most volume that we've seen, you guys, since back here, since September 24th, which is when we had the last pump that was similar to this. Now this pump here, this pump was your first pump after your lows, right? You keep zooming out, right? You had this downtrend since your Binance listing. You had your downtrend from the Binance low since you listed on Binance, right? Regardless of the all-time history, which again, the all-time history looks something like this, right? So just since it's been on Binance, it hit its low recently. I think it got listed on Binance here, November. Let's see if it got listed in November. What was that? September. Okay, September. So it got listed in September. So it would have been here. It kept growing. It did keep growing. Okay. Sorry. I'm making sure I got all my facts right. I want to make sure that I know where I am in the charts. Anyways, all I'm trying to say, guys, is it found a low here, and it had that pump right there with decent volume. This pump also came with rather decent volume. Yes, there's a big wick already on it. I'm not worried about that at all. I think that this came in at a really good point, came in at a higher low, and came in right where previous areas of resistance were, previous areas of momentary support were, previous areas of momentary support here. It's coming in at a decent area. If we look at the relative low here to the relative high, not the fake out high, but the relative high, I delete this line here, this white line, and you can see that you actually found support in these white lines, the golden ratio zone. So you found support in your relative golden ratio from your Binance low, okay? You've got the same amount of volume that you saw the last time that you pumped out of your Binance low, right? And you've been consolidating since. This tells me not that we're going to see similar price action now, right? Because last time that you pumped like this, you were also at a higher reading in the RSI, but you're coming from your lows. This is fresh off your Binance listing, so this is how we know, okay, there's interest, and there was time for people to distribute, to accumulate, whatever, and then this here validates that it was in fact accumulation, or at least to me it invalidates it. As long as we as long as we continue higher, if this gets given back, and I think it is important to wait for confirmation. If this gets given back, if any day were to close below about 41 cents, that would look really, really bad. You're at 51 cents now, so that's not an ideal kind of risk metric right there, right? If before you figure out that this thing's not even worth investing in, it could drop 20% or more, and then that's whenever you finally figure out that it's time to get out. But 20%, take it or leave it. That's kind of what I'm looking at right now. If we look at the 4-hour time frame, if we look at the relative low here, the relative low from this on the 4-hour to the relative high on the 4-hour, we're back at the 382 area right here, and that's very, very common. Whenever you bounce, whenever you see a strong positive move, you oftentimes do find support right at the 382. Whenever you see a strong negative move, you'll often find resistance right at the 382. So strong moves tend to indicate support at the 382. Does that mean you have to find support here? No, you could go lower. You absolutely could. Is this even the right low to make? Maybe it's the relative low to the relative high, but this is your relative low according to this move, if we're being completely fair. And by that metric, you're at your 0.5 here. You've gone below your 382, you've rejected it now, and you might be on your way down to about 48 to 46 cents. I'm not saying if you go below 41 cents that this thing is forsaken. I'm saying if a day closes below 41 cents. You can wick, you can be volatile, that's okay, but I prefer it if you get any and all of your days to stay closing above 41 cents, you're fine. When you get a day, whether it's today, tomorrow, whatever day it is, to close above, let's just say 60, let's not even use the fibs here. I think, or if we do use the fibs, let's use something that's more relevant. Yeah, let's use this high to low here. Yeah, if you close any day above 72 cents, then that would encourage the thought that you are breaking out positive from this overall consolidation phase. And if this 80% pump in a day is getting you excited, just wait until you see what happens whenever you break out of this zone, you guys, right? You're going to see, I'm not even kidding, right? The minimum target would be about a 5 to a 6x. That's the minimum target. And when I say the target, I mean this is going to happen like fast, guys. It's going to happen really, really fast. Just like this did. It's going to happen really, really fast, but on a much larger scale. And that's your minimum target. Why is it the minimum target? Because whenever you break out, I mean, I suppose you could stop here, but why spend your whole life consolidating, literally your whole life since 2017 spent consolidating in this triangle for your breakout move to just take you to the minimum point that you could absolutely go to? That doesn't make sense to me. In fact, if we stopped there, if this thing only grew 253% only in the next month, I would think that you're actually going to reject down. That'd be a false breakout, because something like this, you should at least go here, if not something that's even more pronounced, and go up to these highs here. By the way, those highs puts you at over 14x. You could go all the way up to the all-time high itself. I mean, maybe not all the way. That's a 60x. Maybe not that high. But, you know, something between a 20 to a 10x is very possible within a month, within, like, by the end of March. This is happening now. The reason why I don't really, other than XCN, because XCN is relevant and a lot of people are invested in it here on this channel, and it's my biggest bag personally, and it has a lot of prospects, right? I think this is one of the coins that I expect to do the best in March. Actually, it was one of the coins that did the best in January. I think it's in holding up rather well in February. I think it's going to do the best in March as well. But ARK is one of the coins I'm looking at that actually has a chance to outperform it. There's only a couple coins that I think are going to outperform XCN, and this one, I'm not saying it's going to. I'm just saying it stands a chance, and that's why I'm bringing it up. That's why we're talking about it today, right? That's why the analysis isn't so in-depth. It's more just kind of broad and just we're talking, right? But the main reason that I'm talking is you're at this point here, and maybe it's more obvious on a weekly basis, where you're coming to the end. You're coming to the end of this consolidation phase, and you just had a lot of volume, the most volume you've seen in a one-day period since you basically got listed on Binance, right? Like that's the most volume you've seen on a one-day period. On the USDT chart, this is the most, like, this in crypto, Binance USDT, that's the most voluminous chart that you're ever going to get. I say the most volume you've seen since Binance listing. I guess this was a lot more volume, but the most volume you've seen since September 2024. Oh, that's why it was weird, because I was going to September 2023. We're in September. That's why I got distracted earlier. Okay. Oh, it makes so much more sense now. Okay. Anyways, I have a feeling that it doesn't stop here. I have a feeling that it's just beginning. Okay, that's my theory. I don't believe that it's going to happen like this, where we pump and then we consolidate for months afterwards, right? For like half a year afterwards. I don't think that. I think this is the beginning of something more. I think the something more is this giant symmetrical pattern, symmetrical triangle that we're in, and maybe that's not the best high to take. Maybe I should trim it down a little bit. Let's see. Line of best fit, something like that there. And then if we take it from the same kind of angle, like that, right? This symmetrical triangles across the space, you guys. When you get to the end, when you get to this nose here, that's whenever you expect the breakout to happen, right? Down, up, whatever. And the way I have it drawn, that would be September that we break out. So I don't think it's going to be September. I think that it's going to be now. I think that it will be in the month of March. And when we break out, we're known to have rather explosive breakouts. We go to XRP, and this is what I referenced in yesterday's video, but I'm just going to reference it for the hell of it here. You go to XRP, it was consolidating for 2 cycles as well, just like ARK has been consolidating for 2 cycles, right? XRP was in a rather pronounced symmetrical triangle itself, wasn't it? You can see it, right? And it was right at the end of that nose there that you broke out, and it was an explosive move. And this is what I mean whenever I say that the minimum target would be here. It wouldn't make too much sense if you stopped right here on your breakout move, because you didn't stop anywhere near there. Minimum target's here. Your maximum target, you went all the way up to your all-time high. You go to ARK, same thing, right? That's literally what we were just talking about, right? the minimum target from here, if I can get it on the price, this is the price right now. The minimum target would be here, and that's only a 240%, only 240% growth, only a 3.4x, you guys. That's all it is. It's only a 3.4x, 3.6x actually. I didn't have it on the actual high there. That would be your minimum target, but I don't think you go there. So using logic, this would make sense as your true minimum target, and that is a 6.5x as a minimum target. That's what I accept as a minimum target. By the way of the law, I suppose the true minimum target would be here, but using our brains, thinking a little bit critically here, I think it makes more sense that this would be the minimum target. So nearly a 7x is your minimum target, okay? And your maximum target, I mean, technically is a 60. I don't think you're gonna do a 60. Let's bring it down here, because that's where the actual trend line interacts, right? That your maximum target, if I could just get it on there, would be a 22x. So I don't know, man. My guess is anything from about a 7x to a 22x is going to happen by the end of March. It's going to be very, very fast, right? It's going to happen whenever it breaks out. It's going to take 1 month or less, or maybe just a little bit more, but still, if not by the end of March, man, very beginning of April, you're going to be sitting pretty on some higher prices. If you don't like that whole method, let's just take the absolute high. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Let's take the absolute high here, put it to the absolute low of this pattern, and you can see that your golden ratio, a very common place to retrace to, hold on, a very common place to retrace to is up here, right at the, what I was saying is the minimum zone that I would expect you to go to. It wouldn't make too much sense at all to find resistance at the 0.5 area, which you've already found resistance at. And oftentimes, whenever you interact with the golden ratio, the second attempt is where you break through. Oftentimes, let me say that again, okay? Oftentimes, and this is only because I've been doing this for 8 years, and the Fibonacci retracement tool is my specialties specifically. I'm not an expert in anything, man, but if I had to deem myself somewhat knowledgeable about any of these indicators, it would be the Fibonacci tool. Like above anything else, this is my bread and butter here. And what I'm telling you for a fact is that statistically speaking, you are the least likely to break through your golden ratio on the first attempt. That's normal. Statistically speaking, you're the most likely to break it on the second attempt. The third attempt, you have more of a chance to break through it than your first attempt, but it's less likely than your second attempt. Does that make sense? Most of the time, you do break through it on your second attempt. Sometimes it takes 3 attempts, and that's okay. But we're about to hit the second attempt, and the second attempt, the golden ratio, is where the minimum target is. The second attempt in the golden ratio is where we normally exceed that. When you exceed the golden ratio, your next target area by way of the fibs is the 786 to the 886, which just happens to line up with that 20x target that we're talking about. It doesn't matter if you're looking at it on the price scale, the pattern side, or if you're using the Fibonacci retracement tool. Everything points to the same, man. It all, or comparing it even to other charts, right? It all points in the same area. Minimum target, guys, is just under a 7x, over a 6x. Maximum target is over a 20x. What are we doing talking about it? I'm going to go buy some. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but I'm going to buy some right now. So hit the like button, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. Oh, by the way, talking about propagating an uptrend here. You just broke out of your downtrend in the daily RSI. A downtrend that you've questionably, debatably been in since December, if not maybe even longer than that, right? From this high back here. So you just broke out of that today with some of the most volume you've seen in about half a year. Is it at an end, or is it just begun? Has it yet to begin? Has this move completed its course? Is it at its end, or has it yet to begin? I think that even though it pumped 80% today, even though today it's up right now a whole 27%, I think it's at a very ideal place to buy. You're at the nose of this pattern. Imagine if you bought the very highest point of this nose back here. You killed it, bro. You killed it. You did great, right? And this move, as phenomenal as it was, that was a 6x, almost a 7x, right? That's what XRP saw, and everybody lost their mind on that. That same target is this one's minimum expectation. Okay? Not financial advice, but fuck, man. Hit that like button, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.